Hi and welcome everyone. Morning stretching while trying to learn the key data of a Blue Ridge tunnel in Virginia in the United States. Do the exercises at your own pace, and doing the exercises as following along is at your own risk. So first, the Blue Ridge Tunnel is in Virginia in the United States. And the name is Blue Ridge Tunnel or Crozet Tunnel. Crozet Tunnel, Blue Ridge Tunnel. So the name is Blue Ridge Tunnel. And now the first exercise. The feet are quite wide apart and the toes are pointing to these directions. And then we breathe in through the nose. Always breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Breathe in. Up and out. And breathe in through the nose and out. And in and out. And in and out. And again in and out. One last time. Breathe in and out through the mouth. And in, out, in, out, and now. Close the legs, and this was the opening exercise. The Blue Ridge Tunnel or Crozet Tunnel. And now the location. It goes through the Blue Ridge Mountain in Virginia in the United States of America. So the Blue Ridge Tunnel goes through the Blue Ridge Mountains in Virginia in the United States of America. And the next exercise. Now the feet are almost shoulder width apart, a little bit more. You breathe in and bring the arms up, and then out and go down to one side. And then breathe in and open the rib cage. And out. And again in. And out, back into the middle. And again in. And out to the other side. And in and open the rib cage. And out. In. And out, back up. We're using all the time the breathing to stretch the muscles and the whole torso from the inside. And we breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. So the Blue Ridge Tunnel, it's just Blue Ridge Tunnel, or named Crozet Tunnel, goes through the Blue Ridge Mountains in Virginia in the United States of America. And it is a railroad tunnel. It was built for train, a railroad tunnel. But it's today a footpath, railroad tunnel. And the next exercise, again, same position with the feet, a bit more than shoulder width apart. The arms stay down. You breathe in and out and slide down with one hand to one leg, and the other shoulder stays down. Now breathe in and out, and take the arm and go out. And breathe in and open the rib cage. And out. And again in. And out. Now to the other side. Breathe in. And out. One arm goes down, one hand goes down, and the other shoulder stays down. Now breathe in. And out, and the arm comes over. Breathe in. Open the rib cage. And out. And again in. And out. The Blue Ridge Tunnel or Crozet Tunnel goes through the Blue Ridge Mountains in Virginia, the United States of America. Virginia is at the east coast of the United States. And it has a length of 1 kilometer and 291 meters. So a length of 1,291 meters. 1,291 meters long. And it's a railroad, or was a railroad, now a footpath. And the next exercise. The feet are together. You breathe in and bring the hands up. And out and go down with one hand. Now breathe in and reach to both hands. And out. And breathe again in. And out to the other side. And breathe in and reach. And out. The Blue Ridge Tunnel, or Crozet Tunnel, is in Virginia, United States, and leads through the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's a railroad and is 1,291 meters long. The construction start was in 1850. So construction start was in 1850, and it was opened to the first trains in 1858, 8 years later. It was planned to be only 3 years, the construction time, but it took longer. So the first trains came through in 1858, 8 years later, and then the construction was completed 2 years after the first trains came through in 1860. So start was in 1850, the first trains had driven through it in 1858, and then completion was in 1860. It was before the invention of dynamite, so there was just black powder and muscle power. So now we have the feet more than shoulder width apart. We breathe in and dive down. And breathe out when we go down. And now always breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, and always expand the volume of the lungs and stretch the muscles on the inside. Breathe in and out. And breathe not so much in the tummy, but in the chest, and open the lungs. And out. And again in. And out, to sides, to one leg. And again, breathe deep in. And out. And again in. And out to the other leg. And in. And out. And in. And back to the middle. And breathe one last time deep in. And come up with a round back, slowly, and at the top, a backward shoulder roll. And the usage was stopped in 1944, when the tunnel was abandoned, in 1944. And now basically the same thing, just that the feet are now together. You breathe in, and breathe out, and dive down. Now again, breathe always deep into the chest and expand the volume of the lungs. And out. And again in. And out. And down force to come closer to the ground. Just hang easy. And out. And breathe in. And out. And in. And out. And breathe the last time deep in. And out, and come back with a round back. And a backward shoulder roll at the top. It was constructed by 800 Irish labourers and 40 enslaved people. It was constructed by 800 Irish workers, labourers, and 40 slaves. And there were 189 deaths during the construction, but that includes also not part of the workers or slaves which worked on the tunnel, but people who died of a cholera epidemic. Cholera is a disease which is caused through the bacterium Vibrio cholerae, which comes in bad drinking water. So if you drink bad drinking water, there can be the bacterium Vibrio cholerae in, and that infects the small intestine and that leads to massive diarrhea and then dehydration, and this dehydration can possibly cause death. And 189 people had died during the construction of a cholera epidemic. So 800 Irish labourers and 40 enslaved African Americans. And there were 189 deaths, but that includes also people who have died of a cholera epidemic. And now the next exercise. The feet are pointing outwards and they are around 2 hands width apart, 2 hands width distance between the 2 heels of the 2 feet. And we breathe in and go down into the garden pose. And press with the elbows against the insides of the knees. And breathe in. And try to come as straight with the back and as tall as possible with the back. And out, and we go back up. And in. Out, back into the garden pose. And breathe in. And out. And breathe in. And the last time back into the garden pose. And now we breathe deep in. And if you can, without injuring yourself, you can come up in one straight line while you breathe out. Breathe in and out slowly in one straight line. And out. And the next thing is, when it was completed, it was the longest tunnel in the United States. And something more. Today, the tunnel is reopened. It's opened, so it's no longer abandoned. It's opened for foot traveling. So you can walk and hike through it by foot. And it's planned to be open soon for bicycles. And one last thing, there are no lights in the tunnels. So visitors are advised to bring lamps, headlights and flashlights. There are no lamps in the tunnel. And another exercise. The first foot stands stable. Do this only if you can without injuring yourself. The heel of the other leg comes over the knee. You breathe in and out and count down. So the Blue Ridge Tunnel or Crozet Tunnel, it's Crozet Tunnel today after Claudius Crozet, who was the main engineer when the tunnel was constructed, after Claudius Crozet. So it's the Blue Ridge Tunnel or the Crozet Tunnel, because there has opened another tunnel. It's now the Crozet Tunnel. So Blue Ridge Tunnel and Crozet Tunnel, and it leads through the Blue Ridge Mountains in Virginia, in the United States of America. It is 1 kilometer, 291 meters long. The construction start was in 1850. The first trains, it's used as a railroad. We had under this leg. The construction start was in 1850, and the first trains ran through it in 1858, and the construction was completed in 1960. It was closed and abandoned in 1944. It was constructed by 800 Irish workers and 40 slaves, and 189 people had died during the construction, but that includes also deaths from the cholera epidemic. It can be traveled through by foot and soon planned by bicycle, and there are no lamps, so you should bring flashlights. And up. And the last exercise, it's the one from the beginning. We breathe in and out. And again, out. In and out. And in and out. In and out. And the last time, in. Out, in, out. Now breathe in, close our legs, and this will be exercises. I don't have time left to say it all again. So, with the key data of Blue Ridge Mountain Tunnel in Virginia through the Blue Ridge Mountains of the United States of America, thank you very much for your participation and your attention. Until the next time.